and good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Othor Cain Show. Glad to have you aboard on this historic night. We are anticipating great returns, right? I think we're all on the edge, and I think that we're all anticipating great results. I'll start with this, though. Nothing new to report in Mississippi. Mississippi will always Mississippi, so nothing new. Just to help a couple of you out, though, let's be extremely clear that there was, even though Mississippi don't officially have early voting, right? Lots of absentee ballots, all of those things. People scheduled to be away and voted early, not officially early voting, but whatever Mississippi or however Mississippi defines that. And that's why the news media has been able to report that Donald Trump won Mississippi. Raise your hand if you are surprised by that. None of us are surprised by that. But here's what I want you to understand. Don't get caught up in the fact and begin to spew that same tired, ignorant rhetoric that you're so tired of Mississippi because Black people voted, right? Black people showed up, Black people voted, and we are looking forward to the post-election returns and information just to see how Black people did. But Mississippi will always Mississippi, right? Mississippi is gonna Mississippi at all times. So don't get caught up. Thank God that she does not need Mississippi to win. But we're going to get into more of that. We've got a live panel discussion for you tonight. Several people will weigh in on the importance of this election, what it means to Mississippi, and how we move forward as a country and as a state. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. First, though, we want to begin the broadcast tonight by paying tribute to the legendary Quincy Jones. Most of you know now that passed the other day. Carol, I know you're struggling to stay awake, but thank you for being with us tonight. We do want to pause, though, to pay tribute to the legendary Quincy Jones. He has had an amazing career, a phenomenal career, from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson. Imagine a Black man being able to produce for the likes of Frank Sinatra and Michael Jackson. The genres of music, could it be more different, right? Could it be more extreme? But this Black man, born in Chicago, Illinois, was able to work with the likes of both of them, and scored a lot of television music and scored a lot of theater music, scored a lot of movies. Phenomenal career. We want to pause down, though, and pay tribute to him. This piece was done by CBS, the CBS Morning Show, and we thought that it really defined who he was and the impact that he had on America. Take a look.
The most important figure in American music as a producer, creator, and orchestrator for the greatest performers we've ever seen. Anthony Mason looks back at his incredible career.
In a career that spanned more than 70 years, Quincy Jones fostered generations of musical legends, producing or arranging for Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, and Aretha Franklin. Born in Chicago in 1933, Jones was taught piano by a neighbor. During high school, his family moved to Seattle, where he'd learn trumpet and how to arrange music. He quit college after a year to play trumpet in New York with legendary bandleader Lionel Hampton. By the early 60s, Jones formed his own big band. To pay the bills, he took a job as a producer at Mercury Records and found early success with singer Leslie Gore. In 1964, Frank Sinatra asked him to arrange and conduct the Count Basie Orchestra for the album It Might As Well Be Swing, and it was magic, creating classic
Fly me to the moon, let me play up there with those stars
after classic.
straight.
compose many notable film and television scores. Jones served as music supervisor for 1978's The Wiz, an all-black adaptation of The Wizard of Oz, starring Diana Ross as Dorothy. But it was 19-year-old Michael Jackson as Scarecrow in the film who stole the show.
What intelligent names.
Jones would produce Jackson's 1979 breakout solo album, Off the Wall. It would sell more than 20 million copies. They'd reunite in 1982 for Thriller, with even greater success. It's still the best-selling album of all time. Among his many accolades, 28 Grammy Awards, a Tony, an Emmy, an honorary Oscar. He's a Kennedy Center honoree, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, and he's won the National Medal for the Arts. All a testament to Quincy Jones' enduring impact on American music. Anthony Mason, CBS News.
What an absolutely remarkable career. Our thoughts and prayers are out to his family and all those that knew and loved him. Boy, talk about an impact. Talk about really being able to touch something and it turns into gold. That's the impact that Quincy Jones had on so many people and so many careers that span the spectrum of American music. Certainly will be missed. You know, they talked about in that piece of The Wiz, and particularly the young Michael Jackson at the time, who really stole the show. Diana Ross was the star of the show, but Michael Jackson actually stole the show and caught the attention of so many people, including Quincy Jones. And again, Jones went on to produce two of Michael Jackson's most successful albums of all time, Thriller being one, and Thriller still being the highest grossing album of all times, even today. So our thoughts and prayers again are with Quincy Jones and his family. So listen, so we've got a panel discussion. It is election night and there are fires being put out. A couple of our guests are out putting out election day fires right now, right? They're out putting out election day fires now. So we're going to wait to see who's able to sign on. And then we will have that panel discussion. In the meantime, though, before we get to that, while we await our panel members, we'll give you an opportunity to share whatever it is that's on your mind. We'll go to a comment from Virginia Chase. She says, thank you for sharing this tribute to Quincy Jones, a wonderful way to not look at real-time election results. God's will be done. Yeah, so you know, all day long, I try to shield myself from paying attention to any up-to-date information about the elections, right? Because it can become consuming, depressing, and all of that. You know, I probably should have shared here on this broadcast a photo of me and my two younger sisters. We toasted up as we are still waiting for election returns. Yeah, so that's a good question. So what's your favorite Quincy Jones song or body of work? So my sister Lisa says, no matter what, God is still and always in control. He is, you know, no matter the outcome, right? I think, though, what I am particularly interested in sharing and understanding it, and that is that we can't blame Black people, right? So don't get caught up in that rhetoric. Don't get caught up in that same tired, stale, old, negative buffoonery, that old narrative that Black folk did vote, because we did. Right. And again, I'll be interested in post analysis for the breakdown of Black people that actually went to the poll. We voted, man. The lines were so long this morning. The lines were so that comment, he was in control during slavery and Jim Crow too. That's true. He was, right? And we survived. Some of us didn't. but we're here, right? And we're still moving forward. We are still moving forward. So black people did vote. I'm telling you. So I got to the polls late this morning. My goal was to get there at about 6:45 this morning. I clearly did make that. Maybe I got there 7:15, 7:20, and I probably had to wait. No, I probably got there about 7:10. If I think maybe. Um, but clearly it took me an hour to get inside. It took me one solid hour to get inside. And so I was encouraged by that. I was encouraged by the number of absentee ballots. I was encouraged by that. There were a lot of reasons to be discouraged during this election cycle, like black men talking about why they couldn't and wouldn't support Kamala Harris, blinded by the fact that they think that Donald Trump gave them stimulus money. A lie, but that's a different that's a different story. That's a whole different conversation. Um, if you think that Donald Trump was responsible for giving you a stimulus check, who was in control of Congress at that time? Let's be very clear on that. Who was in control of Congress at that time, right? Who was in control? So I would be interested in the fact if you are able to pull numbers while we are here. If you want to share some of those numbers, not from Mississippi, we don't really care about Mississippi, right? Not during this election, not for the presidency. We care about some other elections that's happening in the state, but certainly not the presidential election. Um, but if you have any information on what's happening in Florida, that would be good. Anything from Juke Joint, and of course, We Are the World. God's trying to tell you something. Yeah, Quincy had his hands on all of that. Tell me what's up, brother. Glad to have you here. What's on your mind, man? I see all of those exclamation points. So something has got to be on your mind. What's up with that? What's up with that? Right? Tell me what's up with. Tell me what's up with that. I am cautiously optimistic still about the turnout tonight. I am very cautiously optimistic. I feel good. A lot of reasons to be nervous because honestly, if someone asked me, I would say, why is this race so close? It shouldn't be because there couldn't be a wider distance in terms of policy and understanding, right? Um, Barbara says Latinos in Florida still went with Trump. Again, really no surprise there. But if you get some numbers, Barbara, let me know. Please share those here. That would be really good. I mean, really good. That would be really good if you get some actual numbers. Please feel free to share those here with us tonight. But I am interested in hearing your thoughts. Right? Um, I want to see numbers. I want to see how women did. Right? I want to see, particularly though, I want to see how white women did. What did they do, right? Like in all of these movements and all of these women marches and all of these things, these white women, they want to call on black women to help. Um, um, I want to see what did they do this time around. So Tommy says it's killing me how they calling all the races in Mississippi and the polls has just closed. They won't call Benny Thompson though. So let me help you with that, and I can understand the frustration, but it's a real thing. So I want to help you out so that you won't get overly concerned, right? First of all, Benny Thompson is gonna win. There are not enough Republicans in District 2 to change the outcome. So run whatever his name is and whatever Republican want to run in Congressional District 2, not enough of them to change the outcome. But let me tell you this. Here's why they can call Mississippi early, because this is a red state. It's a Republican state. And did we really think that anything different? Did we think that there would be a different outcome in Mississippi? I knew Ty Pinkins was wasting his time running against Roger Wicker. It was just a complete, utter waste of time, resources, energy, money, and besides, he's ignorant, right? So I knew that was just a complete and utter waste of time. So it's no surprise how Mississippi turned out. This is a red state. And given the fact that so many people voted before today, right? So many people voted before today, which really probably equated to more than 50% of the vote already. And that's why they were able to call Mississippi so early, right? That's why they were able to call Mississippi so early. So there's no need to be upset. There's no need to say black people didn't vote. None of that, right? Don't get caught up, right, in that same tired, old, negative narrative, ignorant narrative, might I add. Don't get caught up in that, right? Because it's Mississippi. It's who we are. It's what we do, right? All 8 statewide seats in Mississippi are held by white Republicans. Do you think we're going to do anything different? Come on, man. You know, we got to think this thing through. So, same tired song, right? Same tired song. Virginia says too early to call, and key states like North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, and I don't know what that other one is, right? Too early. Yep, it's Mississippi. It's sad, but it is absolutely true. Sad, but it's absolutely true. This is who we are as a state. But here's the good news, though. Thank God Vice President Harris does not need Mississippi to win. So there's a bright side to everything, right? Mississippi does not put a dent in the election. Don't get discouraged by that. I don't want you to think that your votes don't count, right? Just not enough of us to make a difference in the presidential election. Just not enough of us to make a difference. Right? They don't matter. Those 6 electoral votes absolutely don't matter at all, right? They don't matter at all. They don't, right? They don't at all. All right? Dewana, how are you, ma'am? Glad to have you here. Look, I saw your response to a post earlier about falling out. I'm ready to fall out. I'm ready to fall out with ignorance, right? I'm ready. I saw your post. I couldn't like it enough. I tried to like it a million times and couldn't, right? Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. And until we can position ourselves to think differently, to think better, come on, man. Here's where we are, right? Here's where we are. But we're going to get through this. I still believe. I still have lots of faith. It's 8:20 Central Standard Time. You know, I still believe. I'm still hopeful, right? I think that this whole gender reveal tonight will be female, right? I think this whole gender reveal for America will be female. You know, I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic about that. But I'm ready to fall out. So there was this post earlier. The guy said he wasn't going to fall out with anybody over political affiliation and the way they vote. And for me, we're at the point beyond voting. We're at the point of Dr. J said it's a girl. So for me, we're beyond just a simple vote, right? This conversation for me is far beyond just a simple vote, right? It's about decency, transparency, honesty, freedoms. You know, this man is a whole thug, right? This man couldn't get a job at McDonald's, but he's on the ballot for the president of the United States, right? Couldn't get a job at McDonald's because of his record, right? Because of his record. couldn't get a job at McDonald's. And there's nothing, listen. There's absolutely nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. So I don't want you to take away that Othor is, shaming McDonald's. I'm just saying, in comparison to holding the highest elected office in the country, in comparison to being a resident in the White House, right? A complete and utter felon. Yes, he is. I couldn't get a job as a felon at McDonald's. Come on, man. Come on. And this man is on the ballot. One of the best things that I saw today, and God forgive me, but one of the best things I saw today. So somewhere in North Mississippi, I want to say maybe Tupelo or DeSoto County, don't quote me, but somewhere, maybe Oxford, but somewhere in North Mississippi, at one of the polling places, there was this guy dressed in a Halloween costume, long black cloth thing, ghost mask or something, and he was standing beside the Trump Vance sign, and he held a sign, "Vote for this rapist." Very interesting. It was very interesting, right? And but he had rapist and racist, so he had the R in this, just right there. The letters all spelled out. Vote for this rapist and racist, right there. I was like, wow, 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 right? Because if by some godforsaken chance that this man wins, that's who we will be putting back into office. This rapist, this racist. And for this pool of black men to think that it's okay, right? This pool of black men that think it's okay. Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Over a perceived stimulus check that you think Donald Trump gave you. There's some black men that is so incredibly sad to me. So I said this pool of black men, and DeWanna said this pool of black men who hate black women. They don't want to be led by a woman. That is incredibly sad to me. This pool of black men that think women are not qualified to lead. That's extremely sad to me. That's sad to me. All right. One of our panelists has joined. Deshambe, how are you, ma'am?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
I am doing well. We got lots of panel members that are, two other panel members that are putting out election fires, and I thought you might be putting out election fires as well.
No, I've been here listening to you. I saw the Quincy tribute. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well,
thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
I needed that break in the day. It took me back to the I'm not really old enough to remember this. So I don't want to date you because I know you're old enough to remember this. But it took me back to the first time that you saw Thriller. And the Thriller album came out. You remember that?
I remember that.
Because I wasn't old enough, but I know you
remember. I own that. I own that. Listen,
but man, those were some times, man.
Those were some times. But let me tell you this: I not only do I remember Thriller, but let me just really date myself, right? Because I remember, being a part of a fashion show 1,000 years ago when we actually choreographed the entire routine of Thriller for the fashion show. We did a Halloween fashion show, and we choreographed the whole routine. So,
Hey, did you go to the game Saturday? Did you see JSU do it Saturday?
I saw it on video. I didn't go to the game, but I
Oh,
saw it on video.
man, they were off the chain.
I saw it on video. I
Yeah.
mean, really. So, I was saying earlier, it's almost unbelievable that a black man could span so many different genres of music, from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But listen, let's turn our attention to these elections, because I know that you've been plugged in and you've been following this, and I think we're all on pins and needles. Let's start though first with the outcome in Mississippi. No surprise, how the state turned out, right? No surprise to you there, right?
No, no surprise. No surprise. Even though I have to say, every year we keep getting closer and closer to changing this state. Last year's gubernatorial race, where we,
Yes.
closed that margin
Yes.
in
Yes.
that gubernatorial race, we came really, really close to having another governor last year. And so we keep getting closer and
That's
closer.
right. That's right. That's right.
If we had, you started out the show talking about early voting. Mississippi doesn't have early voting. We don't have same day voter registration in voting. Where in some states people can register to vote the same day in voting.
Correct.
We don't have some of those things that they have in other states. We don't have the early voting process where you can drop your ballot in a mailbox somewhere. If we had some of those things here,
Mississippi would be different.
Look a lot different.
A lot different. A lot
differently.
You are
So we
so
keep
right.
coming closer.
You are so right, Nishabi,
Yeah.
especially with your point about how the gap is, we're closing that gap. We were
Closing that gap.
we were so close to this gubernatorial race with Mr. Presley, and I so hope he decides to do it again, because I think he could get him across the finish line. But you're right. There's so many hindrances in Mississippi, right? There's
so many that they don't have in other states. And even with all the suppression that we have, we still keep closing that gap. Even with people with felony convictions not being able to vote in Mississippi, that's several 100,000 folks who are wiped off the rolls.
Right. Absolutely.
We still keep closing the gap.
We still keep closing the gap. No matter what they throw our way, we still keep closing the gap. Listen, let's talk about this Supreme Court justice race with Jim Kitchens. Man, I'm on the edge of my seat watching these numbers, because
I don't even want to look at them, because people are really making me nervous. Y'all, please stop posting these numbers. Y'all are really making me nervous.
I know. To think that this woman who has done everything she could to suppress women, right? To set women back by years and years and years and years, to think that she could even be in a race like this, right? It's really sad. It's really sad.
It is, but Othor, one thing that I have to say, and I posted it on my page this morning, because it's something that I didn't learn until this race. I didn't know about her family's history. Yes. And I don't like to dig in folks' history, because I hadn't always had a squeaky clean history. Okay.
Correct.
And you probably dig my history and my family's history and dig up some stuff. And I'll probably say, yeah, that was my uncle.
Right.
That was my cousin. They did it. Okay. You got it. All right.
Right. I'm with you.
Okay. But her grandfather was implicated in the murders and was tried in the murders of Goodman, Swerner, and Cheney. Okay, and was acquitted, and their bodies were found on her family land. I mean, that's fact.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's not something I'm making up. It wasn't a rumor. He was on trial and was acquitted. And so that's that. If that doesn't bother people,
I get you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let me tell you something.
I'm horrified.
Let, let me tell you, when I first learned this about a month ago, when I first learned this, I was like, you've got to be kidding me, right? I was like, okay, let's really do some fact checking. Let's really dig deeper and really see to make sure, folk are just not making this up. But
Right.
it's true. It's true.
I'm
It's true.
horrified. I'm
I am too.
horrified.
I am too.
That's really an unsolved murder, because you have Edgar Ray Killen, being prosecuted in that murder, but he didn't work alone.
Right. That's
He's
right.
the only one who was prosecuted in that murder. There's so many who have their hands dirty for these old civil rights crime. That's right, Dr. J. We let her get into the Capitol, and I had no idea. And we have so many people who have their hands dirty, who are at the Capitol right now. She's not the only one who's at the Capitol right now, whose family have their hands dirty. There's a reason why in Germany, there are no symbols of the Holocaust. Okay, because they know how damaging that is
Absolutely.
to survivors.
Absolutely.
We have to deal with this every day. And we're told, get over it. It's the past. I didn't do it. Why you still worried about that old stuff?
Right.
We have to sit here and look in the face of our oppressors, even when we didn't receive any justice for it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It makes me sick to my stomach to think that, okay, now you're on the Supreme Court, maybe. Okay.
It's sad. It's really sad.
It's all good, right?
That's right, right. But here's another thing that bothers me beyond words, right? It's hard to even describe it. But so Nishabi, I know that judges are supposed to be impartial, right?
Right. Non-partisan, impartial. That's right.
I know they're supposed to be impartial, nonpartisan. They're supposed to run a neutral race. I get all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But when this lady advertised in some of her campaigns, talked about being a conservative and being a constitutional conservative, I mean, those are buzzwords. Those are buzzwords, right? Yeah. And the Republican Party fully backed her. Out loud.
She said it in the commercial that she was endorsed by the Republican Party.
Out loud, right? Out loud, right? And they're not called to task on that. How? That's my question. How? How do they get away?
Great question. How?
How? It's sad. I mean, it is beyond sad what we have to deal with here in the state of Mississippi. It's beyond sad.
It's beyond sad. It's criminal. And it's really amounts to an ongoing human rights violation over and over again against African Americans who came here during slavery. And it's just like we keep getting assaulted over and over again.
Right.
It's just like, get up, you're all right.
Oh my God. And so one of the things that I said earlier, and I don't know if you heard it, but I want Black people not to get caught up in this same old tired narrative that Black people are not voting.
That's right.
I'm sick of that.
That's right.
I'm so sick of that.
Old news and wrong news.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because, I waited an hour to vote today. Yeah. And I know we were in line in my precinct. And I just refused to believe that my precinct was the only one, right? I refused to believe.
I saw the pictures.
All over social media.
I saw the pictures. And unfortunately, I didn't have a line at my precinct. But it could have been the time that I went, because when I went today at around 3-something, over 1,000 people had voted. I voted Chastain Middle School.
Okay.
Well, the old Chastain, the previous Chastain Middle School, and over 1,000 people had voted. So I was excited about that. But yeah, I saw the pictures of the lines this morning. So I was very, very excited about that. And of course, we know that here in Hinds County, with the whole incident last year with running out of ballots, that you don't have to worry about us not showing up. We're
That's
gonna
exactly
show
right.
up.
That's
So
exactly
when you undercount us, that's when we show up.
that's exactly right.
So
That's exactly right.
don't ever undercount us.
Don't underestimate us.
That's right. We
Don't.
show up.
That's exactly right. That's
We
exactly
show
right. So I know you're a little nervous, anxiously awaiting the outcomes.
up.
But what are your projections? What are you thinking?
I think that we are having a girl tonight. Yes,
Right, right. So do I. So do
yeah,
I.
I think we are having a girl. I think we're gonna turn the country pink. We're gonna turn the White House pink.
Yep.
Yeah, so I do think that I don't know what's gonna happen here in Mississippi. I think Congressman Thompson is gonna get back in. So that's
Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely.
Congressman
Absolutely.
Thompson is gonna get back in.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm hoping Judge Kitchens pulls it off
Yes.
as the incumbent and gets on back in. So y'all, please, Lord, please don't
I know. I know.
please stop posting these. It's so before it gets to 50%, I don't want to see it.
I know. I know. I
Yeah,
know. I
yeah, and and hopefully, I mean, I think Ty Pinkins, I think he ran a really good race. He really put some very important issues out there, and so we'll see what the results are.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important. Since we only have 4 districts, I mean 3 districts now, we have to start putting folks in those races to really show that we do have candidates that represent different interests.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we really start encouraging folks to run in these races, even when we think, okay, this is going to be hard.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And honestly, speaking of Ty, I knew that it was uphill
Yeah,
for him, and he fumbled the ball a couple of times during
yeah,
his campaign. Right, he really fumbled the ball and alienated himself, a little bit. But to your larger point, I think you are absolutely right. I do think that the Democratic Party has a larger responsibility than what they're taking on in terms of getting people
that's
to run.
that part.
We've
That
got to hold them accountable for that, right? We've got to hold them accountable.
that part.
We've got to-
Absolutely.
we've
Now
got-
that part, the support that backs people, that is the bigger challenge.
That's right. That's
absolutely
right. That's
Because
right.
of course people running are not going to have all the answers when they're running on a $1 million campaign on $500.
Correct.
You
Correct.
know,
Correct. Correct.
so yeah, absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
absolutely
That's
right.
the bigger point. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we sit and we wait. I don't think that we'll know tonight for sure, but we sit
Mm,
and we wait.
Absolutely.
Donald Trump is already claiming voting irregularities and cheating in Pennsylvania. What else is to be expected there, right? What
Right.
else is to be expected there?
Yeah.
So listen,
I have to say this, Othor, before you continue. We do run the election protection hotline here. And so today, we were busy. We received almost 200 calls today from around the state. Most of them were around people voting for the first time and not being on the rolls. So I don't know what happened. And this is statewide, so I'm not picking on any county.
right.
So I don't know, what's going on in our circuit clerk's offices statewide, but somebody dropped the ball with putting new voters in the system.
Mm.
People went to vote. People were excited, and I'm talking about high school students who had turned 18 going to vote for the first time, and their names were not on the rolls. Imagine how disappointing that is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And another problem was people who had, and we have this ridiculously complicated absentee voting process, right? So we got a few calls from people who were disabled
Wow.
who had ordered absentee ballots, never received them in the mail, and said, okay, somebody drive me to my precinct, let me do curbside voting. They come out there and say, oh, Miss Cain, you already voted.
Oh,
I
wow.
never got a ballot. What are you talking about? So we have some things that we need to repair. So we just want to make sure voters know, if you voted by affidavit ballot today because of any of these problems, you do have to go to the courthouse and verify your ballot. That's not the last step. Go verify your ballot or it's not going to count. Please go verify your ballot at the courthouse. So I just
I'm
wanted
glad
to.
you said that. I'm glad you said that. That's very important. I mean, there are so many things that they try to do to disenfranchise us, to really keep us away from this process. So thank you for sharing that. That's important. You got to take the next step. Just voting today alone by affidavit is not enough. So you got to take the next step and ensure that your ballot is verified. So please, please, please do that. So, Nishambe, the work that you guys do at One Voice is absolutely phenomenal. I think that collectively you make Mississippi a better place, right? And I mean that. I don't think that people sing your praise enough about the work that you guys do, and especially you, because you're so behind the scene and you push so many other people out there to go do. But the work that One Voice does across the state is extremely incredible work, and we're grateful. We're a better state because of you guys.
I think you love me.
Let me find out you love me, Nashawn.
I
Let me
think you
find out.
love me.
I do nothing but love. Nothing but love. I can make the heart, right? I can make the
Love me.
well,
I love
listen,
you too.
well, I appreciate that. I got nothing but love for you. So thank you for being with us tonight. We will await these results. I don't think we'll find out anything tonight.
Yeah.
I kind of really wanted to know tonight. So when I go to the gym in the morning, I have to face all of these people. Right? But I think I'm going to wear a mask in the morning so I don't have to look. So I don't
No,
have to
oh my, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get out of bed in the morning.
I know. Nishabi, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Thank you for all the work that you do. That's
I
Nishabi.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. That's
Thank
Nishabi
you.
Lambright Haynes. She is the executive director of One Voice in Mississippi. Virginia made a good point, and I just want to touch on that before we get out of here. Virginia says, I regret I didn't pay attention more in Linda Epps' government civics class at Lanier High School in 1974. However, I've stayed connected to Mississippi's continuous holding the reins. Oh, but the good old boys are getting old, and the light bulb is going off over the head that they will not be the majority much longer. Virginia, I'll tell you this, though. I think a lot of us could use another civics class. It amazes me every single day going to work how many people are clueless about the process. That amazes me. It freaks me out, right? I'm a proponent of bringing civics back, right? Bringing civics back into the classrooms. Dr. J says, so you have to verify your vote after you vote absentee. I think because of the irregularities, because of all of the pushback and folk attempting not to allow our votes to count. I think that's what she was saying, that you really need to get it validated to make sure that it counts. An extra step, an unnecessary step, um, um, but a step that we have to take, right? It's painful, right? It's painful, it's tiring, all of those things, but it appears that we've got to take that step. All right, so get those affidavits verified, right? Get them verified. Get them verified. All right, guys, listen, we will continue to watch, wait, and pray. Watch, wait, and pray. I think that is the line of the night. Watch, wait, and pray. Wait, and pray. All right. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Thursday's broadcast promises to be interesting, to say the least. I think that we will, um, um, by all indication, in terms of the information that has been afforded to me, we probably should see some movement in this FBI criminal bribery case in Jackson. Folk are sharing with me that there should be some movement, right? There should be some movement. All right, there should be some movement on Thursday. So we will address that on Thursday. Again, now, before we get out of here, get those votes verified. If you voted affidavit, get them verified. Get to the courthouse, get them verified. Hate you have to do it. It's a necessary evil. It's 8:47. Thank you all for being with us. That's our broadcast for tonight. For all of us here at the Othor Cain Show. Thanks and good night.